In a remote village surrounded by dense forests, Christmas Eve was always a time for warmth and joy. Every house was decorated with twinkling lights, and the sounds of laughter and Christmas carols filled the air. However, the old house at the edge of the village, surrounded by dark woods, was different. It belonged to an elderly woman named Granny Leela, who had not been seen outside her home for years. The villagers often whispered that the house was haunted. On this particular Christmas Eve, a young family, Artie, Cinta, and their son, Dito, decided to visit Granny Leela. They felt sorry for her, as she was always alone during Christmas. With good intentions, they brought food and small gifts. When they arrived at the old house, the atmosphere immediately felt odd. The Christmas tree in front of the house was covered in dust, and the lights that should have been glowing were strangely dim. Artie knocked on the door, but there was no answer. After waiting for several minutes, Cinta bravely stepped inside, followed by the rest of the family. As they entered, the air inside the house felt cold and heavy. In the living room stood an old, worn Christmas tree in the corner, decorated with faded ornaments. But the strangest thing was the shadow of a woman that appeared to pass by the curtains, despite the house being empty. Dito, feeling uneasy, began to cry. Suddenly, they heard the sound of creaking footsteps coming from the back of the house. Artie hurried toward the sound, only to find an old photograph on the table. It showed a young woman smiling happily in front of a Christmas tree, but behind her, there was a dark, eerie shadow that seemed to belong to something otherworldly. Cinta felt a growing sense of dread. "What is this?" she whispered. Before anyone could respond, there was a loud rustling sound from the basement, followed by rapid footsteps. The basement door slowly creaked open, and in the darkness, a black shadow swiftly moved toward them. As they ran out of the house, they heard a faint, eerie laugh following them. "Don't come back," the voice seemed to say, though no one could tell where it had come from. From that night on, the house was never decorated for Christmas again. The villagers began to whisper about the old stories of Granny Leela, who, before she died, was said to have had a powerful connection with creatures lurking in the dark woods. Every Christmas Eve, they would return, seeking the warmth they could never have, drawn to the souls of those who longed for it.